Hey everyone, Christina Simmons from Say Yes to Holiness here. As we're beginning 2021, I wanted to go ahead and share 3 keys for you being able to achieve whatever it is that you desire in 2021. It takes 3 things. And the first thing that we have to do is that we have to have proper perspective. We have to have that vision of who it is that we desire to be. For those of us who are Christ's disciples, He is our vision. He is the model for us. You probably see him right over my shoulder here, along with the Blessed Mother, and then St. Joseph is there off to the top a little bit. And the fact is that these are our models for how it is that we can become just like Jesus. Jesus himself embodied how we can become perfect as our Heavenly Father is perfect. Mary, she was in such union with God and with her Son that she was able to be that perfect model of holiness for us as well. And St. Joseph, well, this is the year of St. Joseph. So no better time than for us to look to St. Joseph and his model of how to be a just and good man, just as it is throughout the Old Testament, so that we're able to also draw close to Jesus just as he did, and to be able to eventually be just like him. So God is always inviting us. But we always have to have that perspective. Where are we going? I used this analogy for someone just recently about, I'm a triathlete. I did an Ironman triathlon. I did a lot of open water swims. And at the beginning of any triathlon, it could be tons of people all over the place. And if you don't pay attention, what can happen is that you're going to get banged, and people, and it's nothing intentional. People are just trying to swim and get going. And what happens is that if you don't pause for a moment, kind of lift your head up and get a sight line of where it is that you're going, you're going to quickly lose your way, because you're going to be following in the wake of everybody else. And that is not going to lead us to that life of purpose, peace, and abundance that God desires for us. So the first thing we got to do in 2021 is we got to have that perspective. And the second is we got to grow in that life of virtue. We have to have self-control. One of the biggest challenges that we have is to have delayed gratification. Now, that doesn't mean that, eventually we get to be able to indulge completely. Rather, it's about cultivating our character in such a way that we're able to see that what it is that we are potentially giving up or setting aside for now is worth the sacrifice. That's why I always tell people that your why has got to be big enough. Your vision of who it is that you desire to be has got to be so big that you're willing to sacrifice, to set aside things, and to exercise self-control, to do the hard things now so that the things that you truly desire become very easy in the future. And that ties into our final thing we need to do, which is sacrifice. Now, a lot of people look at sacrifice as this terrible thing. Again, it goes back to self-control. And it's like, I'm denying myself. My life is horrid. No, if we truly want to be who it is that we say we want to be, then we need to trust that the path that has been laid before us for the last 2 millennia by all the saints, but particularly by Jesus himself, is the way. Jesus tells us he's the way, the truth, and the life. And we need to be willing to sacrifice what it is that we desire in order to be able to become like him. We have to trust that his plan is the plan that we need to be pursuing. And I boil that down into my 4 steps to holiness. What's the plan? We need to be doing daily prayer and meditation. We need to be second is we need to be living that life of grace, particularly by frequenting the sacraments. Third, we need to cultivate that life of virtue, trying to grow in virtue each and every day. And fourth is to abandon ourselves to God's will. When we're doing these 4 things, and we're doing them consistently, so that eventually we're able to do them easily and quickly and with joy, then what happens is that we become like Mary and like Joseph and like all the saints before us. Not because we have done this self-improvement plan, but rather because we have opened ourselves up to being able to receive all of the gifts that God desires for us. And that brings me to my last little bit of wisdom that I came across in the last couple of weeks. And it's a quote from Viktor Frankl. I was listening to a podcast, and one of the speakers brought out this quote, and I think it's perfect. Viktor Frankl tells us everything in life can be taken away from you. except for your freedom to choose how to respond. We have a choice of how do we respond. We had the Feast of the Epiphany that we celebrated this Sunday, but actually is coming this Wednesday. And the fact is that we have a choice, just like Herod and just like the Magi. The Magi, they saw the star and they responded by joyfully setting out. They had the vision of where it is that they were going. They knew that they were going to go to worship the newborn king. And they were able to practice self-control, to be able to deny those things that would perhaps, have gotten in the way. Their family maybe was real upset that they were leaving for months at a time. It could be that they were leaving positions of influence and, job responsibilities in order to go pursue after this. But they were willing to trust and they set out. Unlike Herod, who when he found out about the newborn king in his midst, instead he reacted in fear. He wanted to control the situation. He wanted to bring about his version of what should be happening. And eventually he set out and he killed all of those who were under the age of 2, all the newborn boys under the age of 2. And that was, of course, the result was the Holy Innocents, who we still celebrate. But the fact still is that are we going to respond in fear to all of what 2021 can bring us? Or are we going to respond with joy and with hope and to be able to be filled with all of what God desires to give us, of all of the ways that he desires to manifest himself, his presence in our lives? Are we open to that? Are we willing to trust in his plan? Are we willing to cultivate self-control and to do what it is that he asks us to do? And are we willing to keep the vision of who it is that he has created us to be before us? Because he has created us to be that unique and unrepeatable sign of his love and mercy in the world. But it's on us to respond to that invitation, to say yes. So I hope that these words have helped you just a little bit in being able to get your 2021 off to either a great start or with continuing, or maybe, just kind of changing your perspective and being able to get on the right track. One of the things that I'm doing to help you with that is that I am doing an Unhackable Catholics book club. The book Unhackable by Carrie Oberbrunner. It's a 30-day book. It's set up, the chapters are set up by day. So for 30 days, I'm going to be posting in the Say Yes to Holiness Today Facebook group and also in the Say Yes to Holiness group within Smart Catholics. And I'm going to be posting a little video from the author, Carrie, about the chapter. And then we're also going to be gathering and talking about how is that journey going. And over the course of 30 days, we're going to learn this process that will help us be able to become unhackable so that we can close the gap from dreaming to doing and be able to really have the 2021 that God desires for us. So if you're interested in that, go right now to smartcatholics.com, sign up for the free community. When you're in the free community, just go to groups and then select the Say Yes to Holiness group. And you'll be there for all of the posts, you'll be there for all the videos, you'll be there for all the Zoom calls, you'll get notifications for it. Or if you're just interested in kind of following along and you don't want to go to a new platform, which I highly encourage you to do, just go to the Say Yes to Holiness Today Facebook group off the Say Yes to Holiness page and go ahead and you'll be able to participate from there. But remember Viktor Frankl's words, everything in life can be taken away from you except for your freedom to choose how to respond. How will you respond this year? What is your 2021 going to look like? Know my continued prayers for each of you that you have a truly blessed and rich 2021. God bless.